Hi, this is GISZ, and I'm shooting this video to give everyone an instructional on how to use Tales and Realms cards. I'm going to go ahead and pick these up. Unlike a lot of card games, Tales and Realms is not a card game that you play at a table. The cards are just a tool for gameplay. The game is theatrical. It's based on your acting skills. So you stand up and you role play with other people. I have no one else here with me right now, so I can't show any in-depth gameplay, but I can give some instructions on how to actually use the cards. I'm going to debut some of these cards for you. All the cards you see here in this pile are also shown publicly, and so everyone has seen these cards. And these particular cards, this list of cards here that come with the rule book, are free. Everyone's considered to have these cards. I'm going to familiarize you with these cards. Everyone's supposed to have these cards already, so even if you don't own these cards, you're supposed to have these cards, and if you would like physical copies, I can still sell them and give them to you. Show you here. Simple cards. And I'm going to explain how the cards are utilized before I go through these cards. So, a player would have a collection of cards like these. It may not be this many, it may be more. Not all the cards have to be held physically. Soon I'm going to devise an app, and the app will hold digital copies of the cards, and so you can carry around your cards in an app and access your cards that way, just so it won't be cumbersome, because it is so many cards. It can be very many. But a player will have cards nonetheless, whether they're digital or they're hard copy. And each card has a necessity. This one is a basic card. This is Commoner Clash Tradability. Everyone should know this card. I'm going to explain it to you very quickly. On top we have the name. There's also the ID number. Not every card has an ID number. I'm printing these amateurly, so not every card will have an ID or need one. Needs is something that you see in the card. It's an item. It'll be a list of things that are needed in order for the card to be utilized. And wants is a separate list. Wants will be a list of things that need to be satisfied in order for the card to be used. So needs have to be met in order for the card to go onto a character. I'll explain the character shortly. And wants are a list of things that you need in order to use the card in the middle of the game. Awards are what the card is actually useful for. Awards can be anything. Usually it's a prompt cue, like instructions. And as you can see, this card, I'll read it aloud. The character this card is used for, it gains the Commoner Class trait ability in addition to its other class traits. So this card gives your character a class. So owning this card and using this card for your character gives your character this class. You can show this off. Everyone can see this. Everyone should have Commoner. Again, it's a card that everyone is considered to have just to run the smoothness of the game. So if you join a game and you don't know what's going on, you have this card already and you don't know it. Or at least you'll be treated that way so that you can play the game, because all these cards are necessary to play. These are very necessary cards. Attack happens to be the next card. This is good. Attack has needs. In order to put this card on your character has to have the Commoner Class Trait Ability card. It says so. You'll find it under the Needs Commoner Class Trait Ability card. And this makes this valid. The ones are also none. So you don't have to worry about utilizing the card. And the awards, I'll hold it still here. Theatrically pretend to offend an enemy target character. And then there's an equation. I'll go through the equation. So it's simple. What you do is there's 3 phases that the game rotates so as it progresses. And the first phase is the panic step. Now the panic step is when the player is allowed to go through their cards and decide which card they're going to use. We'll pretend for my panic step, I chose attack. Now, if I was playing with other players, everyone around me would also be going through the panic step. They would be going through their cards and picking what cards they choose. And when everyone is ready with the card they chose, then everyone enters the next step, which is the act step. And in this case, I would follow the directions on this card, which are to theatrically pretend to offend an enemy target character. I don't have any other players with me here. No one else has a character. I'm the only one with cards. But I can pretend to attack someone. I can pretend that someone's here. And that person would be using another card themselves. And it's just an acting step. You act. And then you freeze. You freeze because that's the end of your instructions. And then this begins the end step. Everyone is frozen. Everyone has followed their instructions. And the game master goes around and tells each player what they've done and how it equates and what's happened. And herein lies the equation. This is saying your initial force is a score in the game, it's a stat, I'll explain it later, is your character's strength score. I'll explain that later as well. That comes with stat cards, other cards the character would have. And your force plus hazard with weapons equals harm threat. Threat to first layer, enemy damage is minus. Protection, second layer. This is explaining, so when you attack someone, it goes through layers of protection that summon up other cards that that player might have that operate on those layers, and that player can call on those cards and reduce the damage this way. And this would be determined when the game master is telling the player exactly what they've done when they use the card. I'll be making more videos.